guys, Maria here with TMG, and today we will talk about lines and how to properly set them up and how to add them to your account. So to add a new line, you will go to Aloware Classic. So this is something an admin would do, and you will click on lines. Then on add line to add a single line, or add a local presence to add a bundle of numbers. Here you will have three options: US, UK, or Canada. For the US, you will have the option to add numbers for major cities, which will be around 100 numbers, or nationwide, which will be around 300 numbers, hence the difference in pricing. For UK and also for Canada, you only have one option, and that will be nationwide, $100 per month, and you will get around 100 numbers as well. To add a single line, you will click here, and we can just go ahead and add one now. So let's name it Marija Test. And here you can set up the call routing. So what will happen when you receive an inbound call to this specific line? Will it be routed to a ring group, to a user, or will it be a dead end? If you have a ring group set up, you will just go ahead and select it here. If you want to edit to a specific user, you will go ahead and edit here. Or if you want it to be a dead end, just select here. That will mean that no one will be responsible for this line, and all incoming calls will go directly to voicemail. We will add this number to user, and we will add it to my user account. And we will enable call waiting. This means that if I'm on a call with the lead and a new call comes in, that new call will be placed on hold until I am available again to take it. Now we will click on next. For the country, you have Canada, Puerto Rico, or US. If you need any other numbers for any other countries, you will need to contact customer support and they will set that up for you. So for now, we will click on US and choose between the type line. You have local lines, which would just be a regular number, or a toll-free line. The local number would be $3 per month, where the toll-free number will be $6 per month. For the number here, you can add 3 digits. So for example, 206, and we can match it to area code anywhere within the number or the last part of the number. So let's search for the area code. And as you can see, we have some numbers here, and you can just go ahead and select whichever you like and click on activate line. For the third step, you have a line registration. If you already have a campaign set up, you will be able to add it to that campaign. If you don't have it set up, please make sure you complete those steps before sending out any messages, because your numbers will most likely get flagged or blocked. Now, as we are not using this account for any calling or messaging, we only use it for testing. We do not have any campaigns set up here. So that will be it. We will click on next and set up your line. In this section now, we can go ahead and set up the line as we like it to. So first, the general will just be the name of that line. And here you can write the description if you want, and enable the MMS for the line, which means that any long text message, so longer than 160 characters, will be labeled as an MMS if you exceed that number. So if you send a message that contains 162, for example, it will be labeled as an MMS and it will be charged as an MMS. For the phone numbers here, so this is a line set up for me. I only have one phone number linked to it. So if you want, you can always add more lines, more phone numbers to a specific line. And the setup will be just as we previously did. We'll leave that for now and click on create and record. In this section, you will have a couple of options. Would you like to set up a greet or welcome message for your callers? Should the call be recorded? If it is forced on the account level, you don't have to do anything here. What would be the operating hours, which are almost always linked to the operating hours of the business. However, if the line is being used by someone who works specific hours or days, you can just go ahead and correct that. So just toggle this on and correct the time and days that person is working. And now the final step would be the TCPA. That means that if you toggle this on, the caller will need to press 1 in order to authorize getting any messages from you. This is mostly toggled off, but again, if you want it to, you can just toggle it on. Here we will leave everything as is and move to routing in IVR. Now, as we already set up this line for a specific user, you also see here that you have another option, and that is an IVR. That means that you can set this line up as a phone tree, which would mean, again, that you will set this up for different departments. So, for example, if a caller calls this line, they will be prompted a menu, and they can choose and type the numbers for the department they want to reach. So if you have customer service, sales, accounting, maybe for your setters, closers, and so on, you would set this up as well. So we'll leave this as a user. We do not have any IVR or phone tray set up. And we can go down a bit, and here we have the missed calls. So what will happen if you miss a call? Will it take a voicemail? Will the caller be redirected to leave a voicemail? Would they need to press 1 to leave it? Usually this is toggled and selected as no. Or if no one picked up the line, will it then be routed to another line that you already have set up? So as you can see here, we have other active lines. Or maybe it will be forwarded externally, so that will be a backup phone number that you will provide if needed, or it will just do nothing and hang up. We'll select take voicemail. As you can see here, a voicemail message is already written. You can adjust that, or you can click on play a recording, where you will upload the pre-recorded one or record one right on the spot. And the final thing here is to text message after a missed call. So this message will be sent out to your caller that you missed the call from. You can just write your missed call message here. And now we can go to advanced settings. We have whisper, caller ID suppression, or spam detection. It is always the best thing to do to toggle spam detection, so you don't get any spammers or robocalls to this line, to any line. And here the whisper, again, if your rep is a bit stuck, they don't know an answer to a question, they can message their manager or lead, and they can jump into the call and whisper the answer without the caller or your lead actually hearing what they are talking about. And caller ID suppression is to redact caller's phone number when transferring calls. As you can see, it says it's only useful if you are selling calls to third parties. So this is almost always toggled off. Now the triggers, you can set up different triggers for a specific line. So will that be a call trigger, SMS trigger, disposition trigger, or add contact trigger? For example, if you click on add call trigger, so let's say it's an inbound and call is missed. And if the wait time was more than 10 seconds, then what will happen? Will this contact be disposed? Will you create a HubSpot ticket if you have it integrated with your account? Will there be any tags applied to the communication, to the contact? Will there be any tags removed from the contact? Will they be disposed, enrolled into a sequence? For example, if we click enroll into a sequence, you can just go ahead and set this up, and that is it. So whenever a call is missed and the wait time was more than 10 seconds, then this caller will be enrolled into a sequence. Or if the call is missed, then we can dispose this contact and make it as bad timing, for example. You can also add an SMS trigger. This is an amazing thing to use, especially if someone sends a message, stop, so they're opting out. This is a great thing to have because you can add a tag to their contact right away, or dispose a contact. So when you are filtering and when you are pulling reports, you will clearly see who opted out. So for example, let's dispose this contact, and it will be, well, in this case, let's go with unqualified, or we can apply a tag, which will be, if you have a DNC tag here, you will select it. So you do have a lot of options here. As I said, here you have the call disposition. So what happens when, for example, it's wrong number, then what will happen? Will they be enrolled into a sequence, or will they be disenrolled from a sequence? So for example, if a client, your lead, calls in and they say they are not interested at all, so it will automatically dispose it as a bad fit, and then you can disenroll it from a sequence, say test 2. So you do have a lot of options here based on the line settings. So again, you can use them as you wish. Maybe you already have some workflows or sequences set up, but as I said, this is a great thing to have on a line level. Also, for example, when this is an SMS trigger for stop, if has all keywords or any keywords. So let's say stop, not interesting, and you can add cancel. Then what will happen? We will apply a tag, and the tag would be DNC or do not contact. So depending on what you have, or maybe you will just go ahead and dispose this contact right away, and that will be unqualified, for example. So the disposition, you can dispose them based on the response you get. So this is a single word keyword or two words keywords that will be used and triggered. They will trigger call disposition, contact disposition, and so on. Let's delete this for now. And here you have email conversation. So you can write here an email, just the front part, the first part, and it will route all emails, and it will create basically a two-way email conversation with your leads. And finally, the CNAM. This is compliance related. These will be available for you only once you register your brand. Once that is approved, you can go ahead and register a CNAM. CNAM is the ID that is shown on the phones of your leads. So whenever you are calling them, and for example, we write here TMG, they will see that TMG name. So that is also a great thing to have. Once you are done setting up a line, you'll just go ahead and click on save. And that will be it. Your line is fully functional and your rep can start using it.